In the heart of an ancient Nigerian village, nestled among baobab trees and whispering palms, lived a woman named Akana. Her name, in the Igbo language, means father's wealth, and she was as precious to her community as the name suggested. Akana was known for her radiant smile, which could rival the morning sun, and her laughter a melody that danced on the breeze. But fate, as it often does in old tales, had a strange and winding path laid out for her. One day, a sudden illness swept through the village like a malevolent spirit. It was swift and merciless, and before the sun could set and rise again, it claimed Akana. The village was plunged into a profound grief. The drums that once beat in celebration of life now throbbed with a slow, mournful rhythm. Her husband, Adewale, a strong farmer whose hands could tame the wildest yams, was broken. He sat by her still form, his tears tracing paths in the dust on his cheeks. The elders prepared her for her journey to the ancestral realm. But as they performed the final rites, something incredible happened. A faint gasp escaped Akana's lips. Her chest rose and fell, shallow at first, then with growing strength. Her eyes fluttered open, not with the familiar warmth they once held, but with a distant, haunted look, as if she had seen things no living person was meant to see. The village erupted in a mix of fear and jubilation. A miracle! Akana was back! They celebrated her return, but Akana herself was changed. She was quiet, her vibrant spirit dimmed. When she spoke, it was in riddles, her words filled with echoes from the land of the dead. She talked of a river that flowed not with water, but with whispers of forgotten memories, and of skies that were not blue, but a tapestry of shimmering souls. The villagers listened, captivated and unnerved. She was with them, but a part of her seemed to have been left behind. Life, for a time, returned to a semblance of normalcy. Akana and Adewale even welcomed the son, naming him Ifini, meaning nothing is impossible with God. The boy was a beacon of light, and for a while Akana's old smile returned. But the connection to the other side was not so easily severed. The river shrank to a muddy trickle, and the crops withered on their stalks. Famine loomed over the village like a great vulture. One evening, as Akana went to fetch what little water she could find, she slipped on the parched riverbank and fell into the shallow, murky water. It was not a fall that should have been fatal, yet when Adewale found her, her spirit had once again departed. Grief, sharp and familiar, pierced the heart of the village for a second time. Adewale's sorrow was immeasurable. He had lost his beloved wife not once, but twice. As he cradled their son, he wondered what cruel god would play such a trick. This time, the elders were hesitant. They remembered her strange return, her otherworldly talk. Was she truly one of them? They laid her in their hut, watching over her through the night, their hearts heavy with uncertainty. And just as the first rays of dawn painted the sky, it happened again. Akana stirred. She sat up, her eyes wide with an ancient wisdom. This time, when she returned, she brought something back with her, the knowledge of the rain. She spoke of a ritual, a plea to the spirits of the river she had just walked alongside. She described a dance and a song that would appease the ancestors and persuade them to release the rain. Desperate, the villagers followed her instructions. They danced until their feet were sore and sang until their voices were hoarse. And as Akana led the final chant, the heavens opened. Rain, cool and life-giving, poured down upon the thirsty earth. The drought was broken. Akana was no longer just a woman who had returned from the dead. She was a savior, a conduit to the spirit world. She was now revered, treated with a mixture of awe and fear. She was the village's oracle. People sought her counsel on everything from planting seasons to disputes between neighbors. She would close her eyes and seem to listen to a world unseen, providing answers that were always uncannily right. She lived among them, yet she walked a lonely path, forever caught between two realms. She was a mother and a wife, but she was also a ghost who wore the skin of the living. Her son, Ifini, grew into a strong young man, but he saw the sadness that lingered in his mother's eyes. He saw how she would stare at the setting sun, as if watching a world that only she could see. She had given the village life, but in doing so, she had sacrificed her own peace. Decades passed. Akana grew old, her skin wrinkled like the bark of the ancient baobab tree, her hair as white as the river foam. One morning she didn't wake up. She had passed away peacefully in her sleep. Adewale, now an old man himself, wept silently by her side. The entire village mourned, but this time it was different. There was no expectation of a miraculous return. They knew her journey was final. As they prepared her for her burial, a sense of closure settled over them. They knew this was not a tragic end, but a release. Her work was done. But the story of Akana does not end there. As they laid her to rest under the great baobab tree, a strange calm fell over the land. That night, the village elder had a dream. In it, Akana stood at the edge of the village, not as a spirit, but as a guardian. She was smiling, her true, radiant smile, free from the shadows of the other world. She explained that by crossing the threshold between life and death 3 times, she had not been cursed, but chosen. She had become a living boundary, a bridge. Her purpose was to ensure that the balance between the world of the living and the world of the spirits was maintained. Her final passing was not an end, but an ascension to her true role. From that day on, the people of the village understood. Akana had not truly left them. She had become a part of the land itself. They would feel her presence in the rustling leaves, hear her voice in the flowing river, and see her wisdom in the starry night sky. The tale of Akana, the woman who died 3 times, became a legend passed down through generations. A story of sacrifice, of love, and of the mysterious, unbreakable connection between the world we see and the one we cannot. She was the mother of her village, the keeper of the boundary, and a timeless symbol of the wealth that lies not in gold or possessions, but in the spirit that connects us all. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into Nigerian folklore. If you enjoyed this story, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more tales from around the world. See you next time.